Very good.
Got it. And now you so here. So welcome everyone to this new European Town Hall. With my core team with a special guest. My name is Mauro. I have a great experience working on Cardano and Catalyst and hosting events. That's how I meet a lot of people now that are part of the core team, like David. David come to one of my breakout rooms in the global town hall. So that's why I'm here today. I'm going to host and present the second European Town Hall for everyone it's here. So be welcome. This is, as I say, the European Town Hall number 2. And first of all, we must read our mantra. Today, we must read it in Italian. David, you have the word.
I'll do it. Morning guys, benvenuti all'esperimento. Le cose possono rompersi, mancare di documentazione, differire notevolmente tra un'interazione e l'altra, disorientare, sovraccaricare ed ispirare. Il nostro obiettivo è fornire un ambiente sicuro e vivace per esplorare il massimo potenziale della collaborazione umana.
Excellent. That was great. This is the mantra of Catalyst. You can hear it in English, in the Global Town Hall, in Spanish and Portuguese, in the Latin Town Hall, and here you're going to hear it in Italian, German, Polish, etc. So thank you, David, for that.
You're very welcome.
Well, Ricardo, do you want to say this slide?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Mauro, for introducing. Thank you, Davide, for reading our mantra. So, wanted to tell you something about community and building on each other's successes. So when we started this European Town Hall, we were very lucky to get support from the guys in Latin America. Last 2 days, we have been contacted by the guys who are starting things up for Middle East Town Hall. And what you could see was a lot of willingness to help start this. So like a swarm, the bees flying first to this place, then to that place. And this is the idea, to network, to create a very strong network. So I'm glad that you showed up, and we have very, very special guests. I'm very excited. And I think what is in common for our 3 guests today is that they have managed to create a network of networks. So there are, for example, in the NFT environment, there are dozens or even hundreds of projects that come together under this project of CardanoThor. Dzhuliana with Cardano Catalyst Women. She has brought different perspectives of women active in the Cardano environment together. And the same for the ADA handle standard. There are hundreds of collaborations going on, and it's exciting to see, how this Cardano environment is growing together as an organic thing, and very happy to be part of this. And warm welcome to everybody. So don't be alone. Tell others what you work on. Let others join in, and let others build on what you have created. Yeah, that's the idea. Share your thoughts. Feel free to speak about what you're interested in doing, and you will find a lot of people that have similar goals as you have. So that's it. Thank you very much.
So we can officially say that European Town Hall encouraged the creation of Middle East Town Hall. Don't you think, Ricardo?
Yeah, I think definitely. The more the merrier.
Okay, well, we have prepared a very special town hall from today. These are remarkable people of the ecosystems, science influencers, co-founders, and very, very remarkable people who works to build a better ecosystem in Cardano. So this, with the storytelling, a real people, real fight section, our guest, ladies first, Dzhuliana from Cardano Catalyst Woman will take the storytelling. Why Cardano? Why she's here? What are you doing building on Cardano? Dzhuliana?
Oh, nice to meet you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. Can I share my screen?
Yes,
course.
one moment. So you should have now the rights.
I must stop sharing so she can.
Yes.
Okay.
That's very exciting that we Europeans finally we got it.
Yeah,
Our
It was about time.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
we are setting the first steps of
Yeah.
this new community.
Yes, absolutely. Can you see?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Cool. So my name is Dzhuliana, and I will present you what we do in Cardano Catalyst Women. As you can read, we are focused on building trusted relationships within Cardano Catalyst Women, a Cardano Catalyst community. So 1 year ago, I joined the community because I was invited by this guy here. His name is Jonathan. He's a great friend of mine and a mentor. And a very prominent and active Catalyst community member and builder. And he invited me because in Fund 7, there was a challenge about accelerators and mentors. And my work focus is supporting and mentorship for women in business and technology. So we, the first time when I joined the town hall, was a space like that. So there were around 400 people within this meeting, and there were very few women. There is one here over the right side, and that's me here. And actually what we discovered was that there is really a need for encouraging and supporting women just to stay longer, not to come and see and then leave. And we put a proposal there that was for bringing more women within the community, but it was not funded, it was downgraded. But we decided to continue because when it's your mission, you just continue, it doesn't matter the failures. And so we started to have these Cardano Catalyst women meetings every week after town halls, which are, as you can see, are very diverse, so they're open for everyone, which is our idea. We don't want to separate, we want to collaborate. And specifically for women, we just need more encouragement to stay longer. And everyone is invited usually. So our mission is to build trusted relationships that will keep and encourage women, more women to participate in Cardano's visions, which is to make the world better for all. So if we say all, let's make it for all. You can check our website, and we have a Twitter space also. We actually focus right now on weekly meetings. We have two types of meetings. One is in the general after town halls on Wednesday, and one is a private one. So on these open spaces, usually we have women like Dr. Michaela Uliero, which is a strategic impact officer in IOHK, or bullish dumping, or cross-chain collaborations. And actually we are starting now more to focus on cross-chain collaboration and inviting people from other chains to introduce, to collaborate, because collaboration in innovation is what we also believe. While in the private spaces, there every Thursday, actually today in 30 minutes, we have one where we support each other in terms of not only technical support, if someone needs to create a wallet or whatever it is, but all kind of challenges. Sometimes could be a mental health discussion, sometimes could be a budget or whatever it is, but it's one-to-one, hands-on kind of meetings. And finally, in Fund 9, we decided to put a proposal because there is more time required, and in order to make this sustainable, we need to manage and to delegate properly. So we don't experience burnouts because everyone else is currently contributing for free. So in order to do that properly, we need to delegate properly. And so we're looking for meeting facilitators. And yeah, let's make the world better for all by building trusted relationships.
Excellent. Excellent. Great presentation. Thank you, Juliana. Maybe you could also tell us a bit which challenges did you encounter, when you were starting basically to build a community? What was hard for you?
For me personally, and we see with other women as well, the courage to speak out, to believe in yourself, because this is also in our outside insights. Women just have more experience the imposter syndrome, what they can do, but just a little bit encouragement actually could change a lot. This was my fears in the beginning. Hopefully I had this great mentor, Jonathan, and the support of the community, which was my first trigger, because when I joined, I couldn't believe. I thought there is some kind of trick here, why this community is so supportive, why these people are helping me, why they collaborate. As a Bulgarian, I have a lot of doubts in everything, so you have to be very careful. But actually, that totally changed my mindset, and this is why I become so engaged.
Yeah. I hear that you are also very active when it comes to cross-chain collaboration, aren't you?
Yes, because again, so if it's a collaboration, it is not only inside community collaboration. We have to collaborate with other blockchains and to think about how this will work in terms of not only technological, but people kind of relationship with other blockchains. And this will benefit everyone, because you might get some great idea from other chain to contribute it here. So this is our focus, just to bring more speakers and to explore more.
Great, great. Are there any questions from the audience to Dzhuliana? Because I would have a couple of more questions, but feel free to raise your hand and go ahead and ask.
Yeah, so Martin here, I have a question. How you finally found women to participate?
Sir, could you repeat?
So how did you find other women to participate? Did you make some advertisements? So how
No. Yes. Yes, that's a good question. No, we haven't did any advertisement. We mostly focus on what we deliver. So when you focus on contributing someone else and really providing some value to someone else, and it is like the snowball effect. Yeah? So when the other people has really value from what, and when you are honest, it just gives back. And so the discussions that we have, I'm actually a very honest person and direct. So I don't have that kind of preparations and to be everything in kind of scheduled or in a way that the people will feel kind of that is not that there is no trust. Basically relying on trust. When you rely on trust, and when you realize that other people are people as well, they feel it, and that's how just organically more women. So one will say to another, and then this other will say to someone else, and basically that was the way.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I have a question. What was the biggest challenge to expand this project and this idea across the globe? Because I know that you are trying to reach Latin America, Africa, well, Europe, the States, but what's the biggest challenge to solve or to reach that goal?
The biggest challenge maybe currently is time, because one of the key things is that you have to be curious, and I'm usually a very curious person, and I research a lot, but this takes a lot of time, and because you have to separate your tasks and your time, and you have to prioritize. It is kind of challenging because when you listen actively, you're really engaged in the other person, with the person that you speak to, that makes such a huge difference, because you listen, you are here and now, and you are focused on the other person, you show respect, and this is a lot of energy, which is a very positive energy, but then it leads to other research and other actions. So basically the time activity, which is why we decided to involve more people, because it could be too much for one person or for two people, because I have some other people that are managing as well. But when you delegate properly, it's yeah, that is a huge challenge.
This is one of the biggest debates it's nowadays in Catalyst and in all Cardano ecosystem. It will be a full-time job, a part-time job, because if it's part-time, you can reach all your goals or do all what you want. So a lot of people is talking nowadays about this problem. It's a huge problem that we must solve together as a community and see what we must build, you know. The same discussion happens with the circle in Catalyst, if they must to be paid as a part-time job or full-time job. So very interesting topic, and thank you for that answer. We must reflect.
Definitely, it is definitely a challenge, because you face the purpose and what you really want to do, and then you have your monthly bills that must be paid, which is the contradiction. But I think we are still early in the development of this community, and the great thing with Catalyst is because it's experiment, and you can run as many experiments as you become successful, and I'm pretty sure we will figure it out at some point. Yeah, the thing is to stay here and to be active as much as we can, but to keep the mental health. Very important point.
Yeah,
That's a very important point.
sure.
Thank
So,
you for having me.
no, thank you. So if there is no other questions, okay. So by the
just
power
wanna,
of, yeah, Marcus.
I just have an option. If our project is running, and as we're focusing entirely on women, maybe we can push some of them towards you. So I can reach out to you, or you reach out to me, whatever you prefer, and I'm happy to help you with that, if I can, and if you want to.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. I guess you're in Discord. Maybe most of your Discord. So if you can send me your handle, we can connect.
You're on mute, Marcus. Maybe
Thank you. I just realized.
a little bit
Thank you.
about your project, so we have a bit of context.
Yeah, 1 second. Here you go. That's my real handle. You'll know the other one. Some of you know. The project. We're working around midwifery, and we try to create a platform that improves the whole process during pregnancy. Ricardo, as I know you're in Germany now, so you know midwifery has a certain stance here. And every country is facing a different issue. So it's not one solution fits all, but we try to put it together. And I think with Cardano, we can make something lasting, and at the end finally give it back to the midwives, the project, because there's a lot of things not going right, and we try to solve that. We've been working on this since 2 years now. We've been doing a lot of studies, and now we finally bringing it out. We're writing the content now, and on Sunday we're going to present on the Idea Fest, and by then hopefully we have everything done, so that we have something that we can present already. And yeah, vote for us if you like on idea scale. Just find digital assisted midwifery, and then you find us. I think we can do something great here. I don't want to show too much. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Don't worry for that. Finding collapse and new people to work with, you know.
Yeah. I'm just with that project since the last 2 years, and I'm just like, okay, I'm stopping it now.
No problem. So for our next guest, I will call by the power of Odin. So let me share my screen because the PDF doesn't scrolling. Well, I have a problem. I want to call a huge member of the community, a great influencer who is working a lot in the Cardano ecosystem. Give me just a second. And by the power of Odin, I want to call CardanoThor. Are you there?
I see there is
He's not.
one member
Yeah.
who's joining, but it's having a technical problem with the audio, then connecting to audio. So I will try to reach out to him via Twitter.
Okay.
It could be a problem with him, with his connection. Maybe we can go ahead with the
Okay. Don't spoiler the next guest, and that my epic introduction failed a lot, but I have another. So we are going now to the section by identity. We know that this is a topic that we are discussing nowadays in the ecosystem. It's very important, and we are proud to have today a very respectful member of our community that contributes with her tool, with her team. Welcome, Conrad, the co-founder of ADA Handle. Are you there, Conrad?
I am here, and it's amazing to be here. Thank you so much. And it was great to hear Dzhuliana's introduction. So congratulations on that amazing piece. So yeah, thank you for having me. ADA Handle was a project that was born from a weekend idea. I literally got a phone call from Calvin on a Saturday, and he said, "Hey man, I have this idea. We can do it in 2 weekends, so it's not much work." And I was like, "Man, are you sure it's 2 weekends? Because I'm already fully booked with everything else that I'm doing." And he was like, "Yeah, no, trust me, man, 2 weekends." It took us 6 months without sleeping because we had our day jobs, and we would work on ADA Handle from 9 in the evening until 6 in the morning in the next day. And that's how ADA Handle was born last year. It was an epic adventure. I had no idea that it was going to turn out this big. I knew it was something that had potential because we didn't have anything like this on the Cardano blockchain, but I had no idea that it was going to be this big. Honestly, no idea. So right now we're building 2 new main features. They are personalization and subhandles. So personalization goes hand with what you just said, identity. So it's the idea of bringing identity features into your handle, because right now handles are a product that solve a specific problem. They simplify payments on the blockchain and identifying your wallet on the blockchain, but they don't yet allow you to use handles to identify who you are, either for KYC with a bank or KYC with a mobile phone operator, or even more basic tasks like joining a gaming platform and allowing you to share a specific picture or your Twitter account. So that's where personalization comes in. It's going to give each handle owner the power to add information. By information, everything that you want to share with the world, you can add to handles: Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, Discord servers, website, phone number, email address. In the future, we're going to have a specific encrypted data sets that will allow you to share medical records as well. Share your social security number, or for Europeans in here, the VAT, or I don't know what you call your personal document numbers over there, but similar to the business VAT. So now you can generate tax reports. You can generate your tax information from your handle. So that's the idea of personalization, is to give flexibility for everyone that wants to add information to their handles. And the next product that we're building is subhandles. So the owner of a handle, such as Acme, I like to use the fictitious company name Acme as the example, but any Taproot handle, you will have the option to build subhandles on that. So for example, if you have a team member called John and your company name is Acme, John at Acme becomes a valid subhandle that has almost the same properties as a root top handle. So you can also personalize it. For example, you can also send and receive payments. In the future, you can use it for communication tools and a lot more. So those two main products that we're building right now. There are more. I cannot reveal them right now because we're still studying how we're going to implement them, but we're going to have some news in the next couple of weeks about them. So that's how I came about building ADA Handle in the last 6 months. That's what we've been doing right now, focusing 24 hours a day, or except for the sleep time, of course, on Cardano blockchain. We're learning a lot. The team is growing, which is amazing. We have an amazing team of engineers now. Previous top bank engineers are working with us now, building the handle standard, which gives me the confidence that I can be here now with you guys talking and knowing that someone's watching over the code, which is super important. So that's ADA Handle. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Thank you, amazing. I would have a question, but sorry, you raise your hand first. Go ahead.
No, please go on with your question. That's fine.
Okay.
I need to, I need to find it again.
All right. I have a question regarding, let's say, identity and those projects looking for identity with this DIDs, this identification standards like Atala Prism, or there is this IMX project going on. So my question would be, how do you see that interacting with the ADA Handle standard? Is there a planning regarding that?
Yes, there is. We're in constant talks with both IMX and the Prism team. So our engineers are right now working on studying the Prism Pioneers course. So they're concluding that now. I've been watching some amazing presentations. I want to share one of it, but I don't know how much I can share, how much is private information. But Atala Prism is an amazing tool. I was watching a demo yesterday, the day before. But going back to your question, yes, handles can and will integrate with DIDs, whether they are Atala Prism, whether they are IMX, whether they are from a separate blockchain. The way that we're building this handle personalization tool or feature is to allow a specific data set for DIDs. So now you can have your profile pictures in one data set, and you can have, for example, your DID for your, I don't know, your USA DID, and then you can, if you're a binational, you can also have your DID from another country, all integrated to your handle. And you only share those DIDs if you share the encryption key with whoever is requesting that. So if, for example, you're stopped at a traffic sign it's a traffic stop and the police officer asks you for your driver's license, you can simply share that without sharing your medical records, for example. So yes, we're integrating DIDs with handles, and that's a piece of the personalization feature that we're building.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for the question.
My question would also go into this. Are you, or where is the information kind of stored? Because the ADA handle now, what we have in the wallet is an NFT, and which is linked to the address, and maybe can also grab the stake key and stuff. Where would the information be added? And about the this first part, and the second part would be about the DIDs. Would that be the full information on chain, or however you put that information to the handle, or does it function like a DID before you integrate DIDs?
Okay, so first part of the question, where it lives. So right now, a handle is an NFT, which means it's a native asset that has specific metadata, the 725 metadata. And within that metadata, we have the properties, which include the asset name, in this case, the handle name, or Acme, using, again, the fictitious company name. So personalization and DIDs, where they're going to live, they live as a metadata record inside your handle. So you have presently several metadata fields, one of them being image, which generates that handle image. And another one will be a pointer record to a smart contract. And this smart contract will be owned by your handle. So only the handle owner can make changes to this smart contract. This smart contract then has another pointer record to the actual information of the DID. This actual information of the DID, which can be as small or as large as you need it, will live as an IPFS file. So similar to how you store IPFS images for NFTs today, you're going to have another IPFS file that contains all your information. All of that, of course, is going to be encrypted, and only if you share the key, the other party can open that information. So it's not going to live unencrypted at any time unless you wish to share the key. So summarizing, the answer is it lives as an IPFS file outside the blockchain, but the blockchain has a permanent record to that IPFS file. And because it's always an IPFS hash, if you change the contents of the file, the hash also changes and invalidates the file. Did I answer your question? Does it make sense, this first part of where it lives?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome, you're welcome. Sorry, I don't remember what the second question was.
About the dates, because you said you want to integrate dates, and yeah, you kind of answered it already, but because of the encryption, then it would be like a date, which is it's just shown when you show it, when you give permission.
Yeah, exactly. So the DID lives as a pointer record from your smart contract. So your smart contract has a pointer record to this DID. The DID is also an IPFS. So everyone that is building, well, I'm not going to say everyone because I cannot generalize like this, but I know that what IAMX is building is an IPFS based DID as well. So all we do is we point from our ADA handle to their DID. When a Prism is out, whatever the format that they are building on their side, all we have to do is have a pointer record to that DID, however format it is. We like IPFS because one, it can be super fast. You're not tied to the blockchain. You're tied to your IPFS nodes. It also becomes universal because then you're not tied to Cardano. Any entity in the world that is capable of reading an IPFS link, which is pretty much anyone on the internet, you're now able to access that information. So you become chain agnostic. So that's our preference right now. And the third reason why we're going IPFS for this is because of size. Right now on Cardano, you're limited on a transaction to 16 kilobytes, which is, it's a lot of information, but when you consider how big it needs to be over time, 16 kilobytes is not that much. When you're on IPFS, it can be as large as you need it to be.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the question.
All right. Maybe we have time for 2 more short questions. Davide.
Yeah, mine is a very small one. You mentioned, Conrad, that you will use, it will be possible to use ADA handles also for communication systems. Is it possible to share something more? Which kind of tools you think to implement first?
Again, if you have the personalization standard, you can pretty much integrate to any communication tools as long as you create the standard, right? So we're working on what we're going to do on this side. We're still studying the best mechanics for it. So we don't have a proof of concept just yet. But if you have a location that you always know where, for example, the Acme company is, you know where to find that Acme company. If you look at that record and that record has some sort of communications protocol embedded into it, and you're able to read that communications protocol, you know how to reach that person. So that's the idea. The personalization standard opens up any information that you want to share. So the simplest way of thinking of it is, if you know SIP communication with telephones, if you can simply embed into your handle a SIP endpoint, and that SIP endpoint is live on the blockchain, then anyone can simply ring that SIP endpoint and hit you. There are some big developers on a technology called Camilio. They do telephone systems. They do proxy servers for telephone systems. And all of them, you can reach them by their SIP identity. It's not an email, it's not a website, it's a SIP identity. Thus, if you bring that same SIP concept or any other new concept that we create into handles, you're now able to reach people that are live in a SIP platform, for example. I know SIP because I come from an InfoSec and engineering background, but it can be any other communications protocol. SIP is amazing. I love it. Did I answer the question?
Thank you. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I have a question. I mean, we have a balancing act between, the number of participants, the duration, etc. So I wanted to ask you, Conrad, whether you would be okay to staying a little bit longer and sharing some information in a breakout session after the main part.
I believe so, yeah. I'm not sure how long this session is going to be, but I'll be here. And if I need to leave, we can always schedule another one, but I'll be here for a while, for sure.
All right. Yeah, because I see there are some more questions, but maybe Mauro, the proposal would be to go ahead with our other guest. Yeah, so maybe you can introduce him. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you. So now I can say it. And by the power of Odin, I call to present to the second European Town Hall, the streamer, influencer, and YouTuber, CardanoThor.
Yay!
Thank you.
Wow. What an introduction. What an introduction. Is my mic on okay? Everybody can hear?
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
Yes,
Wow,
of
thank you.
course.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I was having a bit of trouble joining, but yeah, glad to be here.
Thank you. So the idea is you can talk about yourself, about what you want. This is your space. This is your time. Tell us, to the Cardano community, this is the European Cardano community, what are you working on? Why Cardano? Why? How do you start? A lot of people want to get more impact with their projects in social media. So this is your time. Talk about what you want.
Oh, thank you. Didn't have anything prepared, but I'm always happy to talk about Cardano and Cardano NFTs. I am very deep in the NFT space, and I'm actually doing some research on the negative sides of NFTs, because as you a lot of you know, NFTs can have a pretty bad reputation. But yeah, I am Thor. Go by CardanoThor on social media. I'm originally from Iceland, live in the US, and I started investing in Cardano 2021, February 2021. And, it's probably the same story everyone has. Watched the whiteboard video, fell in love with what Charles and the team IOHK is building. And yeah, bought my first stack of ADA. And then it wasn't until in August that I discovered NFTs. I'd never really understood NFTs, never invested in anything on Ethereum. I had sold all my Bitcoin and Ethereum to invest in Cardano. And I was just excited. I had already decided to change my career. So I had turned in my notice, which I was a part owner in, but I wanted to leave that business and do something new. And I had ideas and business plans when I discovered Cardano and Cardano NFTs. And so that quickly changed. And I decided to try to build something in this space because I fell in love with the people that are here. I thought the community was something special. And so when I started talking about it, people didn't really understand. And I think a lot of those people were from Ethereum and Solana, where, communities can be quite different from what I was experiencing. But I fell in love and I started getting engaged in the community. And what I love about Cardano, the Cardano community as a whole, is just how willing everyone is to just work with you, to share ideas, and I just thought it was a beautiful thing. So I started creating my own community. We're called the Viking Squad. You know, I embrace the Norse mythology and the Viking theme for obvious reasons, and yeah, just having fun with it. And I started because I had nothing to lose. I started just creating content that was a little bit different, and just and that's another thing that I loved about stepping into the space, is that I was able to be my absolute nerdy self and express my humor, talk about and share knowledge on Cardano and NFTs, and it just kind of grew from there. Made a couple of parody videos about NFTs and Charles Hoskinson, and just had a lot of fun with it. And now we have, you know, a great community. Have over 1,200 people in my Discord server, and we talk about Cardano and NFTs all day. And yeah, that's kind of my story. And I released my first NFT project. I wouldn't call it an experiment, but it was a passion project called 500 Days of NFTs. It's one way that I thought that I could contribute, because I'm not an artist. I feel like if I tried to make anything art related, that would end up very badly. So I created a timeline of the most significant events in Cardano NFT history. And I created something that I wanted in my wallet, because so often that I want to go back, oh, when was the Space Buds mint, or when was the first NFT minted on Cardano, things like that. So I created it. It took a little while, and I sold 500 NFTs, which was the total supply, and it was a great experience. And now I'm here talking to you guys.
Great, excellent.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You work in this for the community and by the community, but what is the key? Because I work in marketing here. I work with the European Cardano community, Elias and Cardano community, and a lot of projects in this blockchain. In Project Catalyst too, I mentor a lot of projects. But what is the key to create a great community? Because you have your own community besides the Cardano community. And what is the key to interact, to make a feeling with the community, you know? What is your advice?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm certainly no expert, but, you know, I've somehow been able to create a great community, and I'm very grateful for that. But I think the key is to provide value and be authentic, not try to sell anything. I guess, yeah, I don't even know what to call it, but you give something and ask for nothing in return. I think that's very important. And do it in a very authentic, organic way. That's always been my focus, and create real connections. That's super important. And you know, you see a lot of bad examples on how to grow communities. You know, especially in the NFT space, where you know there are these monetary incentives, and I just don't think that's the right way to go when it comes to long-term growth and you know, creating a strong, committed, loyal community. You have to be there for the people and offer something of value, not necessarily monetary value. I'm mostly talking about knowledge and information, and share that without any expectations. That's kind of what I focus on. And yeah, and I guess I also create value in terms of entertainment. There are many different ways to create value, but yeah, not necessarily focus on the, you know, on the monetary side of things. So that's, I guess that's first thing that comes to mind.
Great.
And my second question, very related, is nowadays are people who are creating content or projects that are creating a lot of content, educational or kind of content, and want to have more impact into the social medias, in Twitter, I don't know, in Discord, LinkedIn. What are your advices to get more impact, to do the marketing stuff, right?
Yeah, that's, I would say know who you are talking to. You know, I mean, it's very basic marketing stuff, but you know, not everybody knows a lot about marketing, I guess. You know, so it's worth mentioning. Like, know who you're talking to, know your audience, and that's why it's important to get to know the people in the community and try to be unique. Do something that not everyone else is doing, because it's so easy to see something, you know, that is a tweet or an account that's doing really well and be like, oh, they're doing really well, I should do the exact same thing. But I don't think that's the way to go. You can take elements from those success stories, but then you gotta be authentically yourself and figure out, how can I be authentically myself while doing something unique? And for me, it was, you know, my very strange humor and trying to create value in that kind of, yeah, with some comedy. That's kind of the approach I took. And then I just go all in on that, not try to do everything. That's another example. Try to focus on one or two things that you're really good at and do that better than anybody else.
Great.
Thank you for that answer. And that's true. A lot of people don't know about marketing. In this community are a lot of developers. And if you want that a project, even in Catalyst, get voted and get founded, or in Cardano, get more known, you need to use marketing tools to get more exposure, and that allows the scalability of your product, you know? So Ricardo,
Exactly.
with your question, please.
Thank you so much, Thor. Very inspiring words, indeed. Thank you for being here. I want to ask you about the topic of doxing versus non-doxing. So I have seen some non-doxed projects which are delivering a lot of value, and then where you can tell that the guys are authentic and are going to be there until the end, yeah, or with the product, and they will deliver. And sometimes you see other products which are doxed maybe, but yeah, still not delivering. So I would like to understand how do you like value a new project when it comes to your attention? So how do you see this topic of doxing versus non-doxing in the NFT space?
Yeah, I mean, I look at a lot of factors when assessing Cardano NFT projects in general. And the team is one of the most important factors, but it's just one of many factors. So, and I do think you can have a quality team even though they're not doxed. I don't know if you've heard of Fahad Dukan. He's working on his equine game, and he has a pretty big project, has been in the space for a long time. He was not doxed for a long time. And I think he's a great example of a community member who has a lot to lose, but he is not doxed. So for me, I think doxing is never a negative thing, but and I'm always a little bit more cautious when we have undoxed teams, because I've seen so many rug pulls. I've talked to project creators and I asked them, why are you not doxed? And they give me a lot of reasons, US tax regulations, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of weeks later, they are gone. So I am a little bit more cautious, but I don't think undoxed teams are a red flag per se. They can't be successful, and they can honor their promises and follow the roadmap. So yeah, it's a good question, and it can be tough to assess.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Soy.
Hey, thank you very much for your answers about the community building. They were super interesting and very insightful. I have a question for you about your interest in NFTs, because the space is super young, and everybody's on long-term stuff. But what if the project doesn't even exist that long, that you can really estimate what the long-term will be? So my question is, what do you look out for in NFT projects? What are the things you look out for, and also your the values you keep for you and your not only investment in terms of money, but also in terms of time and stuff. And also you give it to the community. So yeah, I figure that you have a lot of thought processes going on.
Yeah. So you're basically asking, how do I determine what is a good project to invest in the long run?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. I do have a system. I've created a YouTube video, and I try to share this, and I'm probably going to forget some of it now because I'm horrible when I'm trying to think of things. This is why I write everything down and create videos, because it's also for myself to revisit. But we've already mentioned one of those factors, and that is the team. And we've kind of touched on the second factor, and that is the marketing and what kind of marketing tactics are being used. And it gives you an idea of who are they targeting, because there are different kinds of investors in this space, right? There are people like me. I'm an art collector. I like to buy NFTs from artists, and I favor projects that are here thinking big picture long term. And I'm less interested in quick flips and trying to go to the moon and all of that, because you see a lot of that. So who are they targeting in their marketing? Do they have invite competitions to their Discord servers, and using those sort of hype short-term tactics? That's something that I look for before they launch. What else? I obviously look at their roadmap, and there are some red flags. If they're already promising a play-to-earn game in a metaverse by Q4 this year, that's a big red flag to me. What else? Team. You have to look at the price, the supply and demand equilibrium. So what is their price point, and what's the supply? We're in a bear market right now. So if I see a 10K project for 150 ADA each NFT, that's a big red flag to me, and a potential money grab. And obviously I look at the quality of the NFT. Any signs of high effort is what I'm looking for. So are they, and I guess slightly separate from that is there any uniqueness or historic value to the project? Are they doing something that nobody else is doing? That is going to stand a better chance of being here, or having value, at least, in 2, 3, 4 years, because they were the first to do something. I think, yeah. So that's more important to me than promises of, a utility token and metaverse assets and all of that. And then I going back to the team, I think that is the most important thing, and why I started streaming in the first place is because I wanted to have that human conversation, not just read their white paper and make a decision. And I wanted to do it for myself. And I figured it would be beneficial to others to actually hear from project creators and artists that are about to mint and launch their projects. I've never had anybody on my stream who has rug pulled its investors. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think creators who are willing to put themselves out there, engage with the community, be on camera, they are that's a sign that they are invested for the long run. So yeah, those are some of the things that I look for.
Awesome answer. Thank you so much.
So Elias.
I see that Elias has a question.
Hi Thor, how are you doing? I have
Hi.
a question for you. I'm also been trading NFTs for a while. When they were 3-4 months ago, I started 6 months ago when they were first coming up. Do you think that NFTs, as we know them, are here to stay? The 10K collections, the speculation there's around NFTs right now. how do you see it playing out in the future? Like, let's
Yeah.
say 1-2 years from now, or 3.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's a cliche, but we're very early in this space, and things are moving very fast. So I think things are going to look different in a couple of years' time. I realistically believe that 97% of the collectible NFT projects that we see right now, are probably going to have close to zero value in 2 or 3 years. So I think things are going to change. I do believe that, and a part of the reason why I am so excited about NFTs is not just because of the collectible JPEGs. It's about, what we can do with that technology beyond that. We can use it in our everyday lives, right? It's not just about art or collectibles. It's, are we going to be using NFTs when we go to the movie theater? Are we going to use it? There are so many different use cases for NFTs that, so I think we're gonna see more and more innovation and creativity in how NFTs are used, different kinds of utility, and I think it comes in waves. We have a successful collectible like Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then everybody tries to imitate that, and then we'll have a groundbreaking, hopefully, a project that brings something else to the table, and then we have a wave of that, and so I think we're going to evolve and look slightly different in a couple of years' time. And yeah, some of the bigger projects, most successful projects, are still going to be around and be valuable, maybe even more valuable than now. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see 95 to 9, plus% of NFT projects having very little value. And that's coming from an NFT fan. I just think that's the reality of it.
Yeah, it surprised me, like, when you said that. It also, like, kind of bothers me that NFTs having that so much potential to be useful, have the image they have now. Like, I sense
Exactly.
that they're not taken as serious as they could be due to the image they currently have. And I'm also worried, like, what if your prediction comes true? That I agree with it. Like, if like 97% of NFTs that are going on right now stop being worth anything, like, yeah, it worries me looking into the future. Like, well, if NFTs as a whole are seen as just that, it could be worrying.
Yeah, well, let me add to that. I do think the space as a whole, yes, we're going through a bear market right now. So, we're going to follow the ups and downs and the roller coaster of the traditional market. So and this is not my strength, guys. I focus on comedy and NFTs. So talking about economics and the markets, maybe not my specialty, but we're going to follow that. And but in the long run, I do think the NFT space is going up and to the right. I just think the value is going to move from one category of NFTs into another category, and we're going to see, so we're going to be seeing a shift there. And even though 97% of the current NFT projects, or whatever the percentage will be, become worthless, we're going to see new ones pop up that are going to go to the top of the table. So we're always going to see new opportunities to invest in exciting NFT projects. So yeah, it might have sounded a little bit more doom and gloom than what I meant it, because I do think the space is going to keep growing in the long run. I just think it's going to look different.
Awesome. Thanks for your answer.
All right. I would have a question that maybe also goes in direction of Conrad, but also in your direction, Thor. And it's related to regulation, upcoming regulation from the European community, for example. And let's say, Conrad, someone mints something like, I don't know, CNN or something. And yeah, what in terms of regulatory framework do you see heading to us? Will it be something like a domain that you can register and you can sell to CNN, for example, if you're a private person? Or how do you see it for the ADA handle standard as an example of an NFT?
Okay, so yeah, this is a super complicated question because you're dealing with trademarks and patents from a bunch of different countries. Each country has a different regulation. We're right now tied to the US laws because we're based here in the US, our company is in Virginia. So we're trying to adhere mostly to the US laws, but of course we're selling items to users across the globe, and thus we end up having to follow GDPR and all those other laws. So it's a huge problem. During our beta sale, we had not blocked most of the company names. So some examples, I'm not going to say which examples were minted just for privacy reasons, but if you look it up, you can find those names. But some major names were minted. That was only on beta sale that lasted for 12 hours or 16 hours, I don't remember exactly, back in 2021. As of March 2022, when we went to our public sale, what we did was we got the Fortune 1000 names and we blocked all those names from minting. And the idea is that those will remain blocked until ADA handle is managed by the DAO. The token owners, we don't, so just putting a parenthesis here, we're not ready to talk about when the tokens will be available for ADA handle and the tokenomics and all those things, but there will be a token eventually because we need someone or we need the community managing ADA handle. It has to be decentralized from us. So our path is we start a little bit more centralized as we are now, making these decisions of what we allow to be minted and what we don't allow to be minted. And as the community takes control of the DAO via the tokens, they put it to vote. So let's say that 2 years from now, we have tokens managing ADA handle. ADA handle is a DAO. The community decides, okay, we vote that we allow every single Fortune 1000 name to be minted, first come, first serve. If they put that to a vote and the majority of the tokens decide in that way, then that's the decision of the DAO and they can proceed in that way. Obviously, we need lawyers and we need those guys filtering what can be questioned, what cannot be questioned. But that's the idea, is to push all these problems to the DAO and the token owners can figure out how they're going to do it. Right now, we're taking the centralized approach. We don't allow, for example, racist terms and a bunch of other things. I feel bad just thinking about them, but we have a list of about 1 million different terms that we did not allow minting. So if you go to our minting engine, you're going to see that if you try a certain bad word, it's going to give you the feedback saying, look, we don't allow that. But in the future, if the DAO decides that, yes, we're going to allow it all, and the community votes, the token owner votes, then that's the decision of the DAO and they can proceed like that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Or do you have something to add from the angle of other NFT projects when it comes to copyright and stuff?
Sorry.
Juan Pablo, do you have?
Oh, yeah, that was for me. Sorry.
Yeah, who was that question aimed at?
Yeah, the question was in your direction when it comes to copyright. For example, what is the unique thing? Is it, for example, one specific JPEG in blockchain A? Is it different from the same JPEG in blockchain B, right? So things like that.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of different topics there. One is, I feel like we should be, if we are not already, aiming for interoperability. I feel like we are going to see more of those projects that, and we already are seeing some that are, minting on different blockchains, or they have a bridge where you can take your NFT from one blockchain to the other. But going back to the copyright issue, and actually going back to the ADA handles and me being a fan of comedy, I did watched the mint, the first mint, and I saw all the, was watching pool.pm/assets, seeing all the handles being minted. And I put together a list of the most ridiculous handles that I could find. And it was pure gold. It was good comedy to see some of the handles that people were minting. Yeah, some immature Cardano NFT collectors out there. But yeah, I think some projects might run into trouble with intellectual property. I feel like projects are not being careful enough. When I ask creators about it, a lot of the answers that I hear is, oh, the government doesn't care about this right now, whether it's about taxes or intellectual property. It's like, okay, this is the Wild West. Nobody is really following what we're doing. And I just think that's a very irresponsible answer and approach. So I have sold all of my NFTs that have questionable intellectual property assets included. So, just because I just think that it could turn into an issue in the future, especially if they are successful. So I feel like it puts a ceiling on the collection. So yeah, I wish I would see more creators take that seriously and consult with lawyers before they, take maybe in some cases hundreds of thousands of ADA of people's money.
Yeah, thank you.
Juan Pablo, do you have a question, right?
Yes, thank you, Mauro. Well, actually, maybe it was answered by the recently question about Ricardo, sorry. Well, Thor and Conrad, a pleasure to meet you. Really, it's very interesting what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm a 100% Bitcoiner. I'm from 2013 in this place. In Bitcoin, we love security and we love privacy, but I understand that in other blockchains they don't care about it because it has a different purpose and a different solutions. That's why I chose Cardano, that I really like it. But I'm really concerned about NFTs, copyright and security. While I was listening to Ricardo, I remember this case 2 months ago about Seth Green, this American actor, that he had a Bored Ape on NFT collection, and that Bored Ape was stolen, and he was recording a TV series. So unfortunately, he cannot continue to record because he lost that that NFT. He's no longer the owner. So since I'm not a big fan of NFTs, and my girlfriend, yes, my girlfriend indeed has an art collection in boys.com. What are your thoughts about security, about NFTs? Because we were talking about copyright, about marketing, about KYC, but not security on third parties applications. So I don't know which is the point of view that you have.
So the beauty of the Cardano blockchain is that a native asset, so an NFT in this case, is as secure as ADA is. So provided that your wallet is secure, your NFT, your handle, your Bored Apes, or whatever your NFT is on the blockchain is just as secure. The only way for you to compromise your NFT is if your wallet is compromised. So thus, if you take proper precautions using either a hardware wallet or using an air-gapped set of keys. I prefer an air-gapped set of keys. Air-gap being the ones that I issue on an offline computer. I only sign transactions on those, and on that offline computer, I move the signed transaction to an online computer, and I push that signed transaction onto the blockchain. So if my online computer is compromised, which I start from the premise that it is compromised, the only thing that they can do is get that transaction and put it on the blockchain. There's nothing more than an attacker could do. So there are several levels of security, of things you can do to protect your keys. In terms of Bitcoin, I understand it's a similar thing because you can have an offline Bitcoin CLI node so that you manage your transactions offline. I see the security of Cardano and Bitcoin being very similar. Bitcoin obviously being a little bit more secure, well, a lot more secure nowadays or presently, just because you have a lot more miners securing the blockchain as a whole, versus I think it's 28 groups of people on Cardano right now that control 51%. So a 51% attack as of today is easier on Cardano than it is on Bitcoin. So the security question is much wider than these two examples. But I see NFTs on Cardano being as secure as ADA, and in the long term, when ADA is as secure as Bitcoin is, and I do think that this day will come, then NFTs on Cardano will be just as secure as Bitcoin is today.
Excellent answer. Thank you, Conrad.
Welcome, and thank you for the question.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. That was a good answer, and I mean I would share some of your concerns, actually. So there are a lot of scammers out there, so you have to take precautions. And this is, I guess this, you know, this is the downside. You know, it feels like you need to take a lot of precautions, and it can be quite a bit of effort. Like I can't just tell my mom, just be safe, you know, like it can be complicated, and it can be difficult to be safe in the crypto space. And even though some people find it very easy and straightforward, but not everyone.
And I think that these are topics that we must to start to talk, right? Everyone is trying to avoid that rough question about legal entities, copywriting, scammers. So I think that Cardano as a community and every single human being need to start talking about these topics, need to start talking about adoption, legal adoption, and how converge with the real world, right? So until we continue, I want to invite everyone to follow in Twitter, to say with your hashtag what is going to your experience here in the EU Cardano community town hall. I don't know, a joke, whatever, what you want. It's your experience, your Twitter. Only use the hashtag or tag us, EU town hall, and well, we invite you to follow us. We are posting content about Cardano Project Catalyst, helping people, mentoring people to get finance, right? Because remember, our Project Catalyst is a tool to the projects can get funded and get a budget to make it real their dreams and promote the scalability of our blockchain and technology, right? So now what we are talking about is an open space. You know, you see that we have unique perspectives today, multiple people of all across the ecosystem, and we want to open that everyone can open the mic, say something about yourself, say something about how it's been this week, what you are working on, what you are doing today. So we have one common goal, and it's time to build this bridge. Juan Pablo, why you don't tell us more about Innovatio, the main idea, and what they can build? I see in your background.
Okay. Well, I will do it. First of all, Mauro and I, we were working until 2 weeks ago in Innovatio. We met more or less in June. He's a very nice guy. I like him. He's in Buenos Aires. I'm in the Patagonia from Argentina. So I joined Innovatio because I found very interesting because it's trying to reach communities, not only on Cardano, this means innovation was found in Cardano and Catalyst, but we're trying to aim communities from other blockchains just to know Cardano ecosystem, how it works, that it's very easy to connect people, that it's very easy to try to find the correct way and the correct path on your idea. We collaborate in every fund on Catalyst, trying to help and aim the persons that are going to submit an idea on idea scale. And before they submit the idea, just to give them a feedback, like simulating a previous assessment, just to be able to have a good car, a good presentation in the moment that the assessment starts. Then we are working to extend our networking sessions, trying to bring some virtual spaces when we can debate, we can talk anytime on our Discord servers about anything that you want. Always the cases are related to blockchain technologies. We're going to start working on a new space that will be called blockchain. This is not block, it's blockchain, that will be related to articles about learning how to use the benefits of blockchain. And last but not least, we're working on a crowdfunding platform just to be able to raise capital, just to be founded your ideas. It's not to compete to idea scale from Cardano. This is totally different, but we're working on that. So innovation is a very, very big, ambitious project. We're more or less 12 persons. And one last thing, we're going to start pool operators. So we have a lot of projects. It's very, very huge innovation. So I'm going to leave a link on the chat. If you can join, will be
the crowdfunding platform.
Yeah, the crowdfunding platform, exactly. That's going to be a hilarious project. I saw the first mock-ups, and it's really amazing.
Yeah, one member that now is part of the core team, and I mentor in his first steps in Catalyst. It's David. David, do you have a project? Do you want to tell us more about it?
Yes, thank you very much, Mauro. Actually, my project is a little bit complex to be discussed here in total, but to short things up, I am trying to build a fundraising and yield optimization platform dedicated to NGOs, the ones that are taking care of humanitarian activities, and they try to make better reward in which of us are giving. So I participated in Catalyst, hope to get funded and to build this dream of mine that is a few years old already.
So maybe I can say something in that regard, because before starting this European community, we started with some friends, an NGO, so a non-for-profit organization aiming to educate in the Web3 space. So what we're trying to do is basically approach, for example, normal charities that have nothing to do with the space, and teach them what opportunities there are. For example, for artists from Africa, from Latin America, to showcase their artwork and make it available to a worldwide global community, and thus funding, for example, projects where they get, for example, hardware for kids that cannot afford it, or pay for licenses, for teaching, starting from the very young ages. Also for adults, we're partnering already with a Kenyan organization that has here in Germany also their registration. They are supporting already around 150 kids and adults up to the university degrees. And we're going to approach the different projects in Cardano, like WADA, like other things that are going on in the NFT space. There is, for example, the anti-poaching club starting freshly in Cardano. And very curious how we can partner with other activities and do good, and collect some donations in ADA.
I don't know if anyone here has a proposal and want to tell it. I was talking with Elias that have a very complex idea. So if he is here, he consoled us. And I don't know if, well, anyone here has another project in Cardano, no, in Catalyst, or want to tell about your experience. How do you get here? What are you interested in the EU Cardano community? Great silence.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I can.
Of course,
share my
Zoe.
little project. Yeah, I feel like I didn't see everybody in Catalyst already. So difficult to orient oneself and stuff, and to keep up it needs quite some time. So I made a little Twitter account, which may evolve to other platforms as well, but just started there, which gives updates on the timeline and stuff. Yeah, so if you would like to get into Catalyst and you don't know what awaits you there, maybe you can have a look at the Catalyst ticker. I sent the Twitter handle into the chat, and yeah, my next post I'm preparing, and yeah, normally I don't share, but it's for Catalyst, so it's okay. But yeah, today I worked the whole day on the next post, which wants to explain everything about voting and how you can register and how the vote will not in technical terms work, but you know what awaits you and what are the steps you will be going through and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I can talk a little bit about myself.
Oh, sorry, that was terrible timing. Please, I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'll go after you if you don't mind.
No, please. First.
Okay.
You go first.
All right. I try to keep this brief. So for those of you who have been around Catalyst a little while, in Fund 6, I put a proposal called Win-Win Dispute Resolution into the dApps and Integration Challenge, which was a lot smaller in funds. Long story short, it got voted in as the only 5-star rated proposal with the most votes. And we were thinking, hey, you know, launch by some last year. Didn't happen. On mainnet, I will share just a recording to a Gimbal Labs Playground session that you can take a look at. It's timestamped, so feel free to get an update on how that is going. And now that the platform is live, we have now in the process of onboarding our mediators that we've been working with a couple of months on testnet, and very excited about being in the legal and financial implementation challenge that again really goes towards dispute resolution with mediation. One is a treasury essentially, so people that cannot otherwise get the funds to mediate, even though it's a lot cheaper than going to court, for example, right? They can tap into that. The other one is actually a training and certification program as well. So yeah, quick pitch, and I'll be around in the breakout rooms if you want to talk about that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to, if you want, talk about a little bit of myself. I don't know, Ricardo?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And then I think maybe in like 10 minutes or something, we could wrap
a
it
little
up.
Presentation. And yep, yeah, it's a 1 second thing. Well, my name is Mauro. A lot of people know me. I'm like, as I love to say, I'm found 7 sons. I work in a lot of projects in Cardano, such as Innovatio, Latam community, and now in the European community. I represent, and I have the luck to represent the Cardano community in a lot of events. Here in Buenos Aires, I discuss about the necessity of cross-chain collaboration with Gavin Woods. Gavin Woods is the founder of Polkadot community. And we discuss about the necessity of cross-chain collaboration between Cardano and Polkadot and the other chains. We understand that the future is cross-chain. He told me that he saw in the future that the other blockchains must to learn about the advantages and disadvantages in knowledge, but the technological events must to be by unique by the blockchain technology. So this is a little bit of myself. I have the lucky of be here representing the community all across the globe. I'm working a lot to help people in this ecosystem to get founded so they can start up with their projects. I also help people to amplify their networking, to meet new talents, to collaborate and grow together personally and professionally. So thank you. That's my little introduction. I see that Elias is here and Tevo. If they want to make a little presentation about your idea, and we can open the breakout room so Matthias can discuss about that. What do you think, Ricardo?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the group is not very big. I just would be interested. How many people here? You could raise your hand with the reactions. How many people are German speaking in the room? So 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. How many Italian speaking do we have?
David.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm not
it
quite
shows,
sure.
it shows by the name.
Yeah, not quite sure whether it makes sense this time, to do breakout rooms. Yeah, maybe we can just continue for some minutes and then wrap it up and call it a day, would be my proposal.
I'll show up for the Icelandic speaking room.
Excuse me?
I said I will show up for the Icelandic speaking.
Okay,
room.
I will do my first lesson
right.
then.
You can join to our server. Elias, do you want to talk a little bit about your project? And Tevo, please, before, after Elias, you can talk about your experience working with Swarm and in the catalog.
Yeah, sure.
Elias, go ahead.
Well, so I came to Cardano like doing an Instagram page where I made infographics about Cardano, and I get to work for SPO really fast. I was a co-owner of a stable, had like 50-50 deal with an SPO, and I ran all the marketing operations of that stable. After that, I transitioned to working for Cardano products in marketing. And now I'm working for Tokenalize. Is our current, the current project I'm working on. And yeah, something I noticed about Cardano that's very crazy about it is that people support you for the fact that you're in Cardano. I never see that anywhere else. It's like for the sake of you being Cardano, like people just go and support you. It's very crazy to think about. Yeah, I'm also working on some projects of mine. I made a catalyst proposal for investigation. I'm looking forward to make a protocol that is going to allow small SPOs to give the same rewards as big SPOs. That's something that currently doesn't happen. And it should also allow people who delegate to smaller SPOs to get consistent rewards every epoch, regardless of the pool size. As to how I'm going to do that, I kind of have an explanation, but it's very complicated. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to take out how, but
you must need a video explaining to share
yeah, I
it.
have to.
Good idea.
Yeah, there's the to analyze Twitter. Yeah. I'm working
Well,
for-
Elias,
yeah.
is a good friend of mine. We meet Gavin Woods together. We represent Cardano in that event. Was very, very funny, and we are very, very good friends.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
think
Elias,
I
for your
took those pictures with Gavin. I took them. I think.
Yeah, that one where I shaking hands with Gavin is awesome. Tevo, please present yourself. Tell us about your experience. Why did you get to Cardano? What are you working on Swarm? So
Well, I started with a technological side from it. I was doing a game, and at some point, I needed an AI service to generate pictures for the game, but figured out very quickly that the data I was using was not that clean and required so much work. So I thought like a larger scope, okay, what is the solution? And found out that the blockchain is actually solving the issue. Stuff on 2017. When the testnet era came, it didn't start making stateful yet because it felt like a bit too much for me, as I was now also in like an enterprise resource planning teams to develop tools for businesses. And I felt like that's a good thing because I always was like the automation scripting guy. Every time I spent like 10 hours a day, at some point, the people were like, now I'm just work 1 hour less every day, although new stuff added to them. But I felt like this is a great way to add impact. And when the Catalyst opened up, the way it's kind of distributed funds and the way we could try to kind of cover or guide each other to distribute that funding and to see how we could create a system which does not only benefit us, but the entire Cardano community, and even beside the blockchain and the aspect of the VR. And this Swarm itself did kind of came naturally. We just were doing stuff, a few people in the meeting, like how can we have more of these meetings? And then it's kind of worked itself out. Yeah.
Where are you located?
Thank you.
I'm from Estonia.
From Estonia. Okay, all right. Great having you. Thank you so much. Maybe the first Estonian member in the Cardano community in Europe. Great having you. All right, Mao. I think we can wrap it up. Right?
Wrap it up. Okay. Let me show the last photo. I love my photo. Sorry. This is me.
I'm smiling way
Lucas
too much in that photo. I do like it.
Representing Cardano. Well, in this town hall, I want to support the Nintra idea, the CEO of Snapbrilla, that asked for a budget to send people across the globe to this kind of event. I will send across this video my support and for that idea, and to all the team of Snapbrilla that are building great stuff in Cardano blockchain. So we have a very nice meeting today. And remember that things may break, lack of documentation, different greatly between interactions, Dashren, Overlord, and Inspire. And our goal is provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. Thank you, Thor. Thank you, Conrad. Thank you to
Dzhuliana.
Dice Bala. I don't know if I'm pronouncing well, but thank you to our high quality guests that come today. I wish that you have a great time presenting, being here, talking, discussing, and hearing the community, right? Because that's why this is paid for, to amplify your networking, meet new people, meet new talents, and all of us push up to Cardano implementation and development, you know? So this is, remember our QR to our Twitter, follow us, tag us, tell us your experience being here, sharing with us. And thank you, Godma. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, good much. See you fortnightly, Tuesday at 70:30 UTC. I say great, Ricardo.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, have a great evening. Yeah, and a great day ahead, depending on where you are. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Please,
guys.
and let you the link tree to all our social media so you can connect with us, share with us, and discuss with the community. Thank you so much and have a good day.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye. Thank you to the.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Tor. Thank you, Conrad.
Bye-bye.
Dzhuliana. Bye-bye.